What is this? Well, yeah, the museum has closed for about 4 days now, and it has turned into such a mess already because it's getting quite a rearrange for the new season. You may notice if you've been to the museum that this room, you might know it, looks a bit different. Pulled out a load of tables and stuff to make more room, and I'm going to be moving it around and stuff and just basically making more room for more stuff. So I went on a bit of a road trip the other day just to go and pick up a few different things, and we'll be talking about them. Mainly these things are pretty heavy. This one was surprisingly one of the lightest ones. You might see in the background just here, this was definitely oh, it's sharp as well. The heaviest thing that I've had to pick up this week with help from friends, obviously, but we'll be talking about this another day. But right now we're going to have a chat about this beautiful thing right here. This is a Racal International Communications Recorder 32, and yeah, it looks pretty damn impressive, don't it? So the story goes for this thing is I picked it up a couple of days ago in Norfolk from a guy called Daniel who runs BOY Apparel. In fact, he gave me a t-shirt as well. I'm wearing one of them. The link is below if you're interested, but he's had this sitting in the garage taking up space for the past 12 years. And before that, well, it had been apparently sat in another garage taking up a load of space. Apparently him and his father got a phone call one day from somebody saying, come and check out the amount of crap I got in my garage. You might be interested in some of it. And yeah, he left with this thing, and since then he's turned it on a couple of times, but mainly it's just been sitting there looking cool. It is a hunk of very obsolete 1970s tech, but damn, it's beautiful. So the story goes, this was in Heathrow Airport. Heathrow Airport is the biggest airport in London. This was probably sat in a group of a few of these, basically just recording stuff going on, either the distress signals potentially on different bands, or just the communication between aircraft and the control tower and things like that. This thing is basically a 32-track voice recorder. It's actually designed to pretty much run 24/7. That's why there's two sets of tape reels. One is acting like a backup. So let's say if one goes wrong for some reason, well, the other one's going to be running, and and it's got a priority light in the middle of these two. And I think with the controls down below, I'll have a chat in it a bit, because you'll find out very quickly that I haven't got the foggiest right now on what any of this is doing. But I do like a challenge. Now I know what you're thinking. If you're a musician, you're like, oh yeah, that'll make a beautiful studio recorder. But unfortunately, it's sort of really built for purpose. It's really built for the sort of frequencies that voices are in. So apparently, I might be wrong. This was just a vague look at this, because I'm still trying to figure out what the fudge this is. So needless to say, this thing is not in running condition. It's a little bit worse for wear, but it's not like super mashed and stuff. It's not corroded. It seems to be complete as far as I'm aware. And yeah, we'll have a closer look. The main thing that you're immediately going to notice is, well, the rollers, they have disintegrated. As you can see, they literally made a lovely line that goes right down there. This one's still a bit, it's all on my finger now. It's so nasty. It's ran down, all down there. Look, look, look. That is literally just molten rubber. And every single one of them's gone. That one as well. The end stop of this one's missing. So, oh God, ooh, that's nasty. So yeah, the plan with that, what I'm planning to do with this is, I don't know what to do with it yet, but I'm gonna try and sort of get it working. The thing is, I'm treating this as a bit of a learning curve for myself, much like I did the other month with the telephone exchanges, figuring that out. Now I'm looking back at the first video I did on this. Damn, I managed to learn quite a bit. It was quite a fun project. This might be a similar thing. Having not really done much restoring of tape reel recorders, especially of this size, it's going to be quite interesting. So the first thing is finding a solution with these rollers, and Funnily enough, I think this might be the easiest solution of them all. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get some rubberized 3D print filament. I'm basically going to print these. I don't really know whether it matters how wide they need to be. I think they could just, you know, vaguely be the right size. So they don't even need to be that big. As long as they're a little bit tacky and rubber or whatnot, they should do the job, fingers crossed. So this is a 32 track recorder. So if we have a look closely, we might be able to see the record heads and the play heads and stuff like that. There's 4 of them there. It looks like there's 16 on each, and they're slightly offset as far as I'm aware. I'm not 100% sure. And this is a writing of head plate serial number 229. What's this one? Head plate serial number 251. Ooh, it's quite low, unless there wasn't many of these specific ones made. You may, if you look on the internet, you'll find pictures of the Racal ICR 32. You'll also find ones of the ICR 20, which is a 20 channel one, and also the ICR 60, which is a 60 channel beast. If you know about these things, you will immediately realize that this is all in the wrong order, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. This is how I ended up grabbing it, but it took me a while to realize that, yeah, that it's not set up right, but we'll have a look in a sec. So right here is the mixer. This is basically just a 32 channel mixer. These are the volumes. You turn those up and down, and then this I'm potentially muting. Possibly, I'm not sure yet. Haven't looked into it, haven't found much information. Hopefully, if anybody knows of any information, technical jiff jaff, or even if there's a manual on this thing and they have any knowledge of that, because yeah, you know, there's always all manner of people watching these things, then please do comment below and let me know. This is the priority switch, so this chooses which one to prioritize, I'm guessing. Audio monitor, so I guess you can monitor it. I don't know. Oh, that's yep, funky. When you turn it on, I have turned this on earlier. I'm not going to turn it on again. The only reason I turned it on is because Daniel said that they turned it on. So I'm not going to make it any worse if I turn it on. And when I turned it on, it definitely smelt like there was some magic smoke coming from here. But it did boot up. But the system failure light was very well illuminated, so obviously there is something up, and I think it's in here. This lit up, but it didn't move. But I've got some theories with that soon, but I think it's down to the controller in here. So the mixers are here, and actually you can see what's inside these. So it might look complicated, but there's a single card for each mixer. Not sure what these ones are yet. And then underneath this one's got a bit of a broken. It's got the mixer, and then these seem to be the other circuits. The magic smoke was coming from around here, which seems to be the the controller circuit. So hopefully it might just be literally a case of looking in here, looking for some smoky capacitors and swapping them out. But you never know. Some projects are complicated, some are hard. Going down, this seems to be a monitor speaker. It's been hot glued to the back. It's come away right now, so I need to look at that. Doesn't work. The power supplies, I'm not sure whether they work yet. This is something. Some of the fuses were missing, so either A, they were nabbed when this was sat around for use in other things, or they were removed because it was broken. But I have a feeling it might be the first one. The test lamps, these top ones are test lamps. Only the AC ones seem to light up. However, I have had a look at these. And it seems, I mean, when I'm talking about when the fuses are in, that these little test lamps, they do look blown, but I can't actually fully make it out. So the first job with this, I think, will be figuring out whether the power supplies are actually giving out the right voltages. So luckily enough, I don't need any technical know-how for this, because I can just make some readings at the back. And luckily enough, this one, it says it, minus 18 volts, plus 18 volts. That's for that. This one's for a plus 24 volt supply, plus 18 volts, plus 24 volts. This seems to be for one tape player. This seems to be for the other, maybe. Underneath, there's a switch which turns on the tape player. So it seems to be 2 of them, I think. And then there's a switch here that is that's under lock and key. Obviously, I don't have the key, so I'm gonna have to swap this potentially. But right now it's on voice op. voice operation. Potentially that is why it's not moving, maybe, because maybe it's waiting for a signal. This is the first cassette recorder, and that's this one right here. And this is the one that I had wired in. Couldn't get it moving, but it was. So it was lit up. These buttons were lit up, and if I press stop or run, the relay would push these up and down. So there was some life. There was some life, but it's looking at that. The other rewind inhibit, emergency operation, record inhibit. Exactly the same over there, just different, just the other tape recorder. So this thing is for a job. It's basically made for recording a bunch of voices going over a load of random things. And it's not much use at anything else really, but I would love to see it moving, that's the thing. But it's not particularly useful. And that's, I think, why Daniel didn't manage to get rid of it earlier. And also he mentioned he was gonna kind of donate it to Duxford, some sort of flying museum. However, it might have just been sat in a warehouse for a while. He thought that maybe it might have more chance coming to life if I had a look at it. Well, I don't know. He has a lot of faith, but we'll see, we'll see. So from my understanding, this is just pure speculation, is these don't, this is what's confusing me is, well, are these, are they play heads and record heads? The thing is I don't even know if this has a play head, because there's no play. Is run, does it play back? I don't even know whether these are built to play back. That's the other thing. The other question I have is the tape, which amazingly enough, they have tape on them. So it'll be amazing to see what's actually on these. I'm not 100% sure whether these are like a specific size, for instance. That one says Ampex 703, 706. These run very slowly as well, because this whole tape reel is designed to last approximately 24 hours. So it runs, I can't remember how long, it was like 15 inches per second potentially. I got that wrong, I don't know. I think that's right. But yeah, it's a very specialized thing, and I'll be interested to know whether this, I don't even know if this is a universal kind of tape width, and it might actually be quite hard to actually find tape that is actually would actually fit in these things, because these things are one of the most obsolete and useless things thinking about it nowadays, because they're not really built for what tape recorders still exist for, and that is for, you know, colouring a sound in a studio. This literally became obsolete when the means to record things onto hard drives do the same job but with hard drives and you know, just recording it digitally kind of took over. These things, well, like this one, luckily got saved from getting chucked away. Right, we're gonna spin it around now and have a quick look at the back. Oh, oh God. So if we look around the back, you can see that all of these really nice and funky cable settings sitting about. These ones are for the top one. Initially, they wouldn't actually kind of reach down into the main aspect. I'm going to turn down the ISO. That's because these ones from the top wouldn't reach to the mixer. I was confused why, but then I looked in another photo of another one of these, and the mixer actually goes in between the tape players. So tape recorders, should I say. So this goes in between the two, so that means all the wires are going to reach each other. Right now, these top ones don't actually reach to there because it's not, you know, it's all built to squeeze together. So all of these, it was a case of, luckily they're all labelled. If they weren't labelled, this would have been hopeless. Socket 7, then that flicks into that. And that goes into the back of that, and there's just so many of these sitting about, so it's about figuring out what these ones do. Potentially there's a command, like, so from each of these, the tape players, there's 4, so I'm guessing 2 of them, these two are audio, I think. These two look like audio because they're coming from the sockets which are around the tape loop area. And then these 2 funky monkeys, ooh, I don't know. Maybe these are as well, because there's another one here. This might be the, this is another one that's coming from over here. This might be the one that tells it what to do, hopefully. And then the one next to it, You can see it's kind of actually fallen away on that specific one. This one here, I'm pretty sure is the power. So I haven't got any of the motors spinning yet. They don't seem to spin yet. So it's figuring out what makes them spin, what makes them want to do the thing. Potentially, I'm guessing these are probably mains, but I don't even know if the mains is actually going into it. So these are like things I need to have a look at and figure out when I've got a moment, because this will be project. I've got a couple of more pressing projects to do first, and you'll see this come back and stuff. I'd really want to get it spinning, at least spinning and moving and doing something before the museum's back up and running again. So there's a few jobs that I need to do. The first one, power supply, clean up the mess on the front, potentially 3D print some rollers, but first actually let's get one of the tape machines moving. That's the jobs then. Power supply, have a look at what's going on and making magic smoke in the mixer. Get one of the tape machines moving. That's it. And I'll do some rearrange, and then there'll be another video. Also, if you look here, you can see these are the inputs. So these you'll see it's counting from 1 all the way up to 32. I guess that's where, well, the audio inputs go into it. Then there's a bunch of commands, which is good. Maybe this is, oh, it says go. Okay, interesting. Well, we could potentially try and talk to these. Audio out, potentially, maybe, maybe, I don't know. Different alarms. We can test and see if the 18 volts is actually coming through on this, maybe at first, or there's a -12 over here. So maybe it's just, maybe checking on here. But I think if you look at the back of the power supplies as well, they're all a bit of a mishmash. So it's all a bit weird. This bit, I'm not actually sure what this bit is. Like, I don't even know what's around the front of that. Nothing. Okay. Huh. Oh, there isn't anything in there. So that's just not totally sure what that is, because there isn't actually anything in there. I mean, it just looks like 240 volts connects into there. So maybe this is, okay, strange. But you know, it's complete, but it's just a bit old and fudged, and it hasn't really been plugged in to do what it's supposed to do for a long time. Somebody saved it from getting chucked out, and since then it's just been sat around not really doing what it's supposed to do. So yeah, wish me luck with this one, I guess. So hopefully I'll find a day to work on this. I'm going to start on the power supplies, and I'm going to work up and just see if I can get some sort of life from it. Sort out the magic smoke. That's probably the most pressing thing. So like I said, right now it's got quite limited uses. Potentially it might be hard to get hold of this specific size of tape. Potentially not. I'm not sure if anybody's got any information on, it says 706 on these things. I don't even know how to get these buggers off. There's going to be lots of figuring out for this thing. And then after that, I had a thought about it actually, because so this is obviously made as a voice recorder, and that's what it would be best for. It wouldn't really be that suited for audio potentially nearly at all. So maybe this will be wired up into this room, to be honest, because there's going to be the ability, hopefully by the time the museum opens next, the ability to phone in from anywhere, listen to any of the Simpsons stuff, and this will have 32 channels, so it could be listening to 32 lines at once, and it could record for the whole duration, and then that'll be there. I don't know, it's just a random idea, just trying to think what it could be used for. I really want to get this working by the start of next year, because it's rumoured Heimbach might be making his way over, so yeah, it'll be a shame if this doesn't work before Heimbach turns up. So like when I started with the telephone exchange stuff, please, I'm open to suggestions. If you've got any information or you have any experience with these kind of things, any ideas and stuff like that, please just comment below, because I do want to kind of get into it and have a look and see what the fudge is going on. It seems quite an interesting machine. And thanks very much to Daniel, BOY Apparel. Links are below and stuff. I've got one of his t-shirts as well. He gave me one when I went over there. It's well good. Anyway, I've got loads of things that I'm trying to build into the museum and projects to get going and done. So hopefully there's going to be a load of random things. So subscribe and subscribe to the Look Mum No Computer channel if you haven't already, because there's just going to be a mixture of videos about it all on both. Anyway, that's it from me and the Racal ICR 32. Well, have a lovely time.